Health news you can count on from KTVO.
Tonight on the Health Beat, we take a look at local farmers markets. Shoppers at farmers markets across the heartland may want to think twice before buying some of the food there. KTVO found out that many of the products are not inspected. Brian Dukes reports.
It's a beautiful summer day. The sun is shining, flowers are blooming, and the markets are booming. From the farmers selling directly from the field to the amateurs selling home-baked goods, there is something for everyone.
I just really like the idea of buying local and knowing that my food has not traveled thousands of miles to get where it is.
I discovered the farmers market here last week and I bought a lot of stuff. I was very loaded down with corn and cantaloupe and everything.
It's a summertime tradition growing in popularity across the heartland. The problem is there are no state laws when it comes to safety regulations, leaving it up to local authorities.
With the farmers market, you have a variety of vendors, so there's a variety of different regulations that apply that are administered by different agencies.
Vendors that sell fruit and produce have no regulations. Baked goods, jams, and jellies, the state actually has an exemption for those items. They are considered non-potentially hazardous, so again, no regulation. They can actually make those products directly in their home without inspection, but they are supposed to list that on the label. Eggs and meat vendors do have to get temporary food permits. They are expected to maintain proper temperature, and the products must actually be inspected by the Missouri Department of Agriculture. But still, there are some things that are not allowed.
People that want to sell salsa and pickles and those kind of things, acidified foods is what they're considered, and those actually aren't allowed.
We actually found these vendors selling fresh salsa right on the table with samples lying out in the heat. So why aren't the rules being enforced more?
I get up there at least once and probably a couple times this year. The problem is with us being short-staffed now with budget cuts and stuff, and also being done on a Saturday. Each week is a different week, so we have no control over which vendors are going to be there.
But for the most part, people are following the rules.
We make sure the eggs get refrigerated as soon as possible after they get picked up from our chicken coop. And then we wash them, and then we make sure they stay in a refrigerator where they stay at least 45 or below. The meat side, we only deal with frozen meats. They come from the processor frozen, and we ensure that our deep freeze is staying at deep freeze temperature around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Transporting, we just make sure everything stays cool in coolers as fast as possible up here till we get to electricity. The meat, like we have right here, is in a deep freeze running, so it's continually staying frozen.
Many people we talked to had no idea on the lack of regulations.
I was not aware of it until now. It does concern me a little bit just because you want to know what products you're getting and what they're using to grow those products.
With the vendors that I know and farmers that I talk to, I'm not particularly concerned about issues.
So should you be worried the next time you buy something at the farmer's market?
Depends on what you're buying. If you're just buying fruits and produce, then obviously making sure the product is in good shape and not stored on the ground or something. It's a raw product, so it's going to be cooked or prepared further, so there's not a lot of risk involved. If it's a meat product or an eggs or something like that, of course you want to make sure that that's being kept under the appropriate temperatures.
Now, this doesn't mean you should stop going to your local farmer's market, and there have not been any reported cases of food illness from them. And most people we talked to were following proper procedure, but officials say it only takes one product to make someone sick. So do ask questions regarding the safe handling of your food and how it was prepared.
Thanks a lot, Brian.